Trump says that this has to stop now. We are at a point now in the United States where we're seeing so much travesty that happened in North Carolina, now where they mismanage or not taking care of their people. Well, we're also seeing it now in California. And he said this literally, we have to get back to common sense. We now know that his deputy chief of staff has told us that there are over 100 executive orders that are in place now to be signed on day one of Trump's presidency. Trump said California is burning down as we speak after 3 days of fire, literally 0% containment. Trump said this is happening all across America. Democratic policies are destroying America. We do not have an America First agenda, and we need to get rid of these politicians. He has come out and said that Gavin Newsom, or as he says Newsom, needs to resign now for his incompetency of not being able to protect his own people by just even having water in the fire hydrants. We also have now where Elon Musk is walking back his comments on government cuts. He said initially we could cut about $2 trillion of government spending, and he probably says that we won't be able to find that much in the federal budget cuts. He said that we're going to try to get to 1 trillion, then 1.5, and hopefully 2. But the government is very heavily weighted on social programs such as Medicare and Social Security, and that the amount that's being put in versus what's being taken out is not sustainable, and those things need to change. We also have Senator Rand Paul, who is coming out to fight against raising the debt ceiling and saying that we can reduce spending and we don't have to raise the debt, that there's so much wasteful spending that only Democrats and big Republicans say that it needs to stay. He said it needs to be where we have a zero balanced budget and that we should 100% reduce cost across the board. We also have where guess who might be also getting a special preemptive pardon? Our one and only special counsel, Jack Smith, the same guy who tried to go after Trump to put him in jail, put him in prison, sent from the DOJ on behalf of Merrick Garland and Biden, yet all of the cases have failed. Now there's talks of giving him a pardon. This is insane. So much breaking news to go over today, guys. I want to say thank you so much for your support to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can take care of you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. We appreciate your support so much. Everybody that is a member of the channel, thank you so much. I think we got I can't see it right now. 1 second. A new member, Carol Slagle. Welcome to the family. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And to those, Elaine, Demeen, Maria Winter, thank you so much for your super chats that have been given. Y'all show them some love. Guys, we appreciate you so much. We got to get into this news. It is insane what we are seeing. But again, too, we got to get back to common sense. Check this out.
To the ambassador, they named the Denmark's the Peter Thiel guy. Remember this thing of freedom cities? And you got this guy, Mark Andreessen, who's one of these transhumanists. Because remember, these billionaires, the reason they hate MAGA and the reason they think that you're disposable trash, because they do think you're disposable trash, is because they're thinking great thoughts and implementing things on transhumanism and the convergence of all those technologies of CRISPR and gene splicing and quantum computing and advanced chip design and regenerative robotics and, wait for it, artificial intelligence, particularly AGI, artificial general intelligence. That merger, as you know, leads to the singularity. On the other side of on this side of the football, it's just deplorables, good old humans, good old Homo sapiens. On the other side of the football is Homo sapiens, I don't know, 1.5, 2.0, who knows? What I do know is that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ told us one time, told his inner or his posse, right, the inner circle, he said there's only one unforgivable sin. There's only one mortal sin, one sin that cannot be redeemed, can't do it. That's to blaspheme or mock the Holy Spirit, which is the enervating spirit in all of us. That God in heaven, that divine providence put into every individual, every Homo sapien. They're playing with They're playing with Beyond Fire. They're playing with the code of life. Quite serious. And if you look at the immaturity of that crowd, the narcissism of that crowd, the Andreessens of the world, and you see his writings on these kind of these cities they want to do it. The cities, they look like some. You've seen the movie from the 1920s, Metropolis. What is it? Machines, humans that think like machines. Humans are machines. These people think of humans as machines. They don't think of them made in the image and likeness of God. Or they think they are gods. I certainly hope Greenland is not what's being proposed by these guys. If we do get a strategic partnership for Greenland, it could be tremendous. It could be tremendous for the people in Greenland. Look, I know we got a million and one problems we got to solve here. But part of the problem is, how do you have a defense budget that really defends the United States of America? And what is the basic allocation of that? Look, we just passed an NDA. It's $900 billion. I would argue that $900 billion is making America less safe.
Wow.
Because they're spread all over hell's half acre, and they're still pumping in billions of dollars into Ukraine. Oh, yes,
Yep.
By the way, did LA not send fire resources to Ukraine? Think the people up in Pacific Palisades today may be thinking, a lot of those people wear that Ukraine flag. You think maybe today they would like to have those resources back, so maybe stop a fire that's burning down a village, burning it to the ground like Kyoto in March of 1945? A lot of things to sort out. President Trump is not just changing the conversation, he's changing the direction. That's why this is the hinge of history.
Yes.
That's why those executive orders in the first couple of days are so important in the implementation of it. That's why to get it right, to make sure the legislative part of it that actually codifies this in the law is so correct. This is why this budget, the cuts, and hopefully DOGE is doing some serious work.
Guys, remember, over 100, I'm going to show you the receipts in just a moment, but over 100 executive orders Trump has ready to sign coming from his deputy chief of staff. I want to show you this. Donald Trump put this out this morning. Fire is spreading rapidly for 3 days. Zero containment. Nobody has ever seen such failed numbers before. Gross incompetence by Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. And Biden's FEMA has no money. All wasted on the Green New Deal scam. On the Green New scam. LA is a total wipeout. Guys, they're saying the Hollywood sign might be go up in flames. I want to show you this, though. This is literally what you're about to see here. I hope you're sitting down, because what you're about to see here is about as horrible as it gets.
Literally using purses?
They're literally using these small little bags, look, to fill up with water for whatever reason. These are firefighters, guys. And look, to go throw water. Let me show you the beginning. Look at this. This is what they're doing in Los Angeles. These firefighters, makes no sense. Like, what the heck are you doing? Now, they did put out the fire. I'll give them that for that little part, but it's still rampaging throughout all Los Angeles, guys. This is bad. We got some breaking news, though, guys, there's some talks happening. A lot of people are trying to figure out what happened with Trump and Obama, having some side chats this morning. Them laughing. I want to show you some of the evidence and then show you what people are saying. Because, again, too, Trump is never not going to make a deal. But listen to this.
Big show today, a lot to talk about. Let's go, ring that bell. I want to show you this first. Little video. Donald Trump is at the funeral service for Jimmy Carter today. I wonder what he must be thinking I mean, this really shows you how decent of a guy Donald Trump is. He's sitting here, chatting with Obama and these other. He's sitting with a group of people: Kamala Harris, Doug Emhoff, the Bushes, everyone else. People who either stood by and did nothing, or people who directly attacked him with weaponized government. Now, you may say to yourself, "Well, why is he being nice?" The answer is because that's who Donald Trump is. All these left-wing arguments. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump's a Nazi. He's evil. He's a demon. You may not like the fact that he does, but he's a rather magnanimous guy.
Yep.
He sits there and he knows he's at a funeral. He knows it's not the right time. So what does he do? He makes small talk with these people. Again, you may not like it. I'm just telling you. The arguments that this guy is some evil, out-of-control demon are ridiculous. Nearly every single person in this, you see it? You got Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. You got the Bushies. You got Pence. You got Barack Obama, the founder of the feast. You got Kamala Harris. Nearly every single one of these people has partaken in an effort to corrupt government, to unethically, illegally, immorally, in an evil manner, attack Donald Trump. And what does he do? He goes and pays respects to one of the most liberal presidents of all time. It's a guy's funeral. I'm going to pass today on any criticisms. My choice. You do whatever you want. We'll cover the Carter presidency maybe in some more detail another day. Because there are some things that came out of that weren't awful, the deregulatory stuff, and there were other things that were beyond awful, including the diminishment of the United States on the national stage, like you're seeing now, and inflation. What are you talking about, Joe Biden? No, I'm talking about Jimmy Carter. But they do stay, there's a lot in common. But we'll talk about that another day. It's funeral today, and I refuse to act like leftists do. Do not fall for the psyop, folks. You have a massive failure of the left-wing model of big government right now going on right in front of your very eyes. And the left is desperate to get you to shut up about it. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. If these catastrophic apocalyptic fires happened in Texas, Florida, or Mississippi, there would be ringing condemnation from every piece of scum in the media calling for public executions of governors, state, local mayors, officials, county commissioners, and anyone else involved. But because Democrat liberal commies run California, Gee, can we go a little bit out of order? Can you pull that Politico tweet up? What do you get? You get no condemnation of Democrats at all, and you get a bunch of Republicans pounce stories. Republicans unleash on... Never about the actual failures. Look at this. Politico. Republicans are blaming Dem policies for the catastrophic wildfires tearing through Los Angeles.
Well,
Republicans pounce. Republicans unleash. Republicans unload. Notice how whenever Democrats F something up, which is every single time because government sucks, it has no incentive to ever do anything right. It's
Guys, I'm telling you what, if that is not blatant propaganda, I wish that Trump would put something out to stop all the just fake propaganda out there. It blows my mind how instead of holding the Democrats accountable for not even having water in the fire hydrants, they're going to blame Republicans for being mean to the Democrats because Democrats aren't doing their dang job. Thank you so much, Sherry Garcia, for the super chat. Let's go. Said, see how many fires DEI trained people put out. Y'all show Sherry some love in the chat.
Steals your money at the end of a barrel of a gun. There is nothing you can do about it. And whether government sucks or not, you never get a refund. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
Government never goes out of business. There's no pressure for it to go out of business. The media protects them from any bad press. Imagine being a restaurant that food poisons people every night and some review site like a Yelp or whatever deletes every negative review. That's the media. It's the best analogy I can ever give you. That's the media to the business of government.
Protecting them.
It has no incentive to not suck. People are dead. The damage in Los Angeles and some of the surrounding areas is going to be so catastrophic when this is over, despite repeated warnings, that the fact that to this day, a lot, but not all, some media people are even coming around, you'll see what I mean in a minute, are still protecting these idiots. Meanwhile, if this was Ron DeSantis, I'm telling you, they'd be called for public executions right now.
They'd ask him to resign.
It's absolutely disgusting. And then you got this loser in the White House who, again, did nothing about this. California is a state in the United States. Joe Biden's president of the United States. Joe Biden could have asked questions about this like Donald Trump did, fire management. It is still a big state. California is kind of important to the union. What Joe Biden do? Nothing. But he flew out there yesterday. And here is Joe Biden doing what Joe Biden does. How many times have I told you this, folks in the chat? How many times have I reminded you Joe Biden is what? Folks, I'm telling you, I know this from damn good sources. Trust me on this. I've always been candid about my sources, okay? Joe Biden is a sociopath. I'm telling you, he's a sociopath.
Dang.
He sees no consequence to his actions whatsoever. Everything is about Joe Biden, enriching Joe Biden, and to everyone else, you get the double-barrel middle finger. Here he is out there in California, in one of the biggest catastrophes you're going to see in modern times in Los Angeles. And what does he decide to do? Announce ceremoniously and in a celebratory manner that he's a great-grandfather. Joe, can I just be sure? Nobody gives it, bro. Nobody cares. Their house just burned down. What do you want to do? A freaking gender reveal? Look, we popped a balloon. It's blue. What the? Nobody cares, bro. Watch this.
Good news is I'm a great-grandfather as of today. I was granddaughter. Then I'm baby girl, baby boy. So
That's a great point he just made. He always does this. I don't want to make it personal, given that all your houses just burned down, every childhood memory, all of your memorabilia, photos, your baseball card collection, the mom's jewelry you passed down, your engagement ring, your will and testament, your legal documents, your business records, all that you burn. It's time for an announcement. Let's do a gender reveal. Boom, balloon bomb. It's a boy. Nobody gives a bro. Nobody cares.
Wow.
No, I mean nobody. Technically, that could be considered a hyperbolic statement. You're exaggerating. No. I don't even intend it as such. Nobody cares in that area about you being a great-grandfather. You gonna jump in the shower again? You slob? That's who this guy is. He's a sociopath. He can't get out of office soon enough. Less than 2 weeks to go.
We're close, guys. We're almost
Finally, at least one member of the media, this is a Sky News reporter, has decided to do some journalism and stop with the climate change, really? That's funny. We thought it was the lack of water management and a bunch of dry brush in a fire-prone area. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'll be crazy. Here's the mayor of Los Angeles, which, fellas, you hear she made it back to L.A.? Yes. Finally, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, another commie, she made it back. She was in Africa. What was she doing in Africa and Ghana? Who the hell knows? Who cares? She's taking a trip, need a little vacation. I mean, she's been mayor for so long. Dan, she was just exactly.
Guys, you're not going to believe what you're going to see.
Yeah, Ghana. But LA's burning, exactly. So she finally makes it back to her burning down city. She's like Nero. Surprised she didn't come off fiddling off the plane. Here is a Sky News reporter finally doing a little bit of homework. And guys, wouldn't you agree? You've seen the clip, producer Jimmy too. At least she gives some very detailed answers as to where she was, why she stole money from the fire department, why there's been no fire management stuff. The answers, wouldn't you agree, guys, were very thorough. And she put to rest any allegations of mismanagement on her part. Check out these incredibly fine answers. Check this out.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor?
Wow.
Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
No comment, guys.
No apology for them?
No, nothing.
Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Nothing. No response, no comment, no apology, no accountability. Look at that. Just walks away. Whenever somebody actually asks them the hard questions, they have nothing to say. John Reppy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. So I said, sad for my home state and the people praying for them. I'm in God's country now. MAGA, let's go. Y'all show John some love. John, where you at? Are you out of a great state like Tennessee like me? Guys, this is what this, I think she's an actor, I don't know, said, we pay the highest taxes in California. Our fire hydrants were empty. Our vegetation was overgrown. Brush not cleared. Our reservoirs were emptied by our governor because tribal leaders wanted to save a fish. Our fire department budget was cut by our mayor, but thank God drug addicts are getting their drug kits. Your far left policies have ruined our state and also our party. Guys, 100% true. Look at this. I want to show you this. Trump posted this today as well. So one of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning to the ground. It's ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault. This is why this came out last night, guys. I was losing it over this, guys. Came from the leading report. Majority of Republicans, 53%, support a constitutional amendment allowing Trump to run for a third term as president per jail partners. This is why. Because common sense. People want to get back to common sense. People are tired of saying, wait, there's no water in the fire hydrants? Wait, you emptied the reservoirs? Wait, you wanted to save a fish instead of preparing for what always happens is wildfires in California? Come on, common sense. That's what we need. Now Trump is really pushing hard on Californians to recall Gavin Newsom and make him resign. Listen to this.
Critical of California Governor Gavin Newsom's water management decisions in the years preceding these horrific fires. Namely, Trump says that Newsom should have and refused to sign a water declaration or a water restoration declaration that could have put California in a much better position to fight these fires.
I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration.
So Trump is referring to a 2020 memorandum that he signed meant to bring more water to Los Angeles and other parts of California, but the state said it wasn't scientifically justified and sued to block it for concerns about endangered species. Newsom's office pushes back on Trump's story, saying, quote, "There's no such document as the Water Restoration Declaration. That is pure fiction." Meanwhile, Trump is demanding Newsom's resignation, writing on Truth Social, quote, "One of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground. It's ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault." Here's Newsom last night.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives.
Yeah, and it's all your
Kids lost their schools.
And you know what, guys? I just wish for one freaking time that they would take accountability and say, you know what? It's on me. We should have did this, we should have did this, and we should have did that. We have to own up for it. I will take responsibility. I'm the leader of California. I should have made sure this would have never happened, but they never do it. They're all spineless weasels.
Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it.
What is the situation with the water?
Politicize
Obviously, in Palisades, it ran out last night in the hydrants.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system.
Trump will attend former President Jimmy Carter's funeral in Washington, D.C. today, and then he'll fly back to Palm Beach, where he will meet with Republican governors at Mar-a-Lago tonight. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Nate, thank you very much.
Yeah, they're talking about the tanks. They were empty at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, they were empty.
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday. You got to be kidding me. Pacific Palisades, I mean, if you have a $3 million home, if the taxes are like New York, it's probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in taxes you're paying. And you can't get a hydrant? You can't get a hydrant in front of your house? I mean, what about working class areas? If the The high tax areas can't do this. And Rick Caruso came out and said, I talked to firefighters. They are frustrated. They're pulling up, and they said there's no water there. And they say that they don't have equipment necessary to fight. So, and while she decides, Karen Bass says, I'm looking at my budget, and I got to give over $1 billion to homeless, and I got to cut $23 million from the budget for firefighters. And they came back and said, you can't cut 23. So she says, all right, we'll just cut 17. How does that sound?
I would just like someone to tell me the appropriate time to criticize the leadership here. I mean, to the president, and I talked to the president last night, his criticism is warranted. He predicted this before it even happened.
Wow.
And he said, this is something that we can do to solve this problem. Okay, they don't do it. And now we're in this mess. A governor who loves to do press conference, loves the showboat of, you know, the office, but when it comes to management and leadership stuff, he was asked about the fire hydrants, and he says he's gonna leave it to the locals. There's a tragedy going on county to county, okay, city to city. You would think the state would have a position on that, and he says just go to the locals. That's a failure of leadership.
One young man in Pacific Palisades, I saw an interview with him. He was a high schooler, and he said they came to our house to try to hook up to the fire hydrant right in front of our home, and there was no water. Absolutely no water in this neighborhood in America. That shouldn't happen. Who's responsible for that? Who should be held accountable? Is it Karen Bass? Is it whoever's over the community of Pacific Palisades? The water problem needs to be fixed there, especially when there was an alert a few days before and Karen Bass goes over to Ghana and then flies back and won't answer questions. The reporter says, with Sky News, says, do you want to apologize to your community? She didn't say anything. Do you want to apologize for cutting the firefighters' budget so much? Why is homeless getting more than $1 billion and firefighters are getting their budget cut $17 million?
Well, look, the problem was, and you saw it live yesterday, there were 100-mile-an-hour winds. You could have 1 jillion gallons of water. It's not going to put it out. Obviously, what has happened as the winds have gone down and the fire crews have been able to get in and get back up into the air, they've been able to use the existing facility. One of the problems is they've got these great big tanks. Apparently, the city of Los Angeles has 114 massive tanks. They were all filled up at the beginning, but then nobody was expecting that kind of demand, and then it ran out. So going forward, your point about criticizing the leadership is accurate. It's like, okay, who decided we would only have this number of things? Who decided we would only have this number of tanks, this number of trucks, and stuff like this? And also going forward, I think a lot of the people in California are going to say, we could have had more water coming from that San Joaquin Delta thing if there weren't so many environmental protections for a tiny little fish that has been declared extinct.
Well, even Donald Trump.
Guys, let me tell you this. Y'all want to see this little fishy? Because somebody thought it'd be a good idea to say, you know what, let me just go show what this little fishy looks like. Here's it is. This is the smelt fish. Kind of looks like a sardine. That they are trying to protect, and this is what was the reasoning behind not having enough water over there for our friends in California. This little fish. Let me know your thoughts. There's more people that are calling for Gavin Newsom to resign. This guy right here, Shameth Palihapitiya, big billionaire, started out with Facebook, does the All In podcast. Really like this guy. He is a he's left-wing Democrat. He's saying, you know what? This guy needs to go. And again, too, we think, what's happening? They asked RFK. Have a short clip for you about RFK because his family's over there. Listen to this.
So do you think you can work with your home in California?
Am I worried about it? I'm very worried about it.
Has that area been evacuated? And
yeah, it's been evacuated. My kids are there, so Cheryl got out, and the entire canyon has been evacuated.
So, I mean, guys, let me tell you this. I do want to show you this, too, because this is kind of like breaking the internet right now. This is super funny. So, Trump and Obama, Trump's he's a business guy. He knows you're going to fight. There's a time to fight, and there's a time to just be cool. And look at the face on Bush. behind them. Melania always looking so, nice. But I want you to look at Kamala Harris's face. She can't stand that that Obama is talking to Trump, literally sitting next to them. Watch this. This is literally blowing up the internet right now because of the face she makes out of like pure disgust. Look at this. Let me turn off that off. Look, they're talking. She looks back. You see that? Just can't stand it because she's like, that should have been me. I should have been the president. You know what? Couldn't handle it. Melania, look at that. They're just chit-chatting. And a lot of people said that they had some talk, like I'm not going to put it out yet because, guys, I want to make sure that I get the actual, like, facts. There's some people saying that they were lip reading, talking about, hey, I want to show you this too. That, hey, I need you to hold on. Let me load this real quick. Hey, I need you to make some deals with these Democrats. I need you to help make them move. And look, they're going through, laughing it off, guys. Look at that. But they're talking the entire time. Sharon Holt, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said this changeover can't come soon enough. Back again. Let's get it done. One moron at a time. Awesome. Y'all show Sharon some love in the chat. And Crunk Juice said, just give me 2 slices of bread, some mayo, tomatoes, onions, and I'll take care of that smelt fish for you. Yeah. Y'all show Crunk Juice some love in the chat. So, guys, they were like talking the entire time. We're not going to show you like 10, 15 minutes of it, but like the entire time they're talking, they're nodding, they're saying this, saying that. A lot of people said that some things came from this. I want to make sure that I get the facts for you before I actually, show you what they said that the this deal that has been made that he was talking to them about. Trump ain't going to waste no time. But I do want to show you this, guys, because in the midst of this all, guess what Biden is working on? He's working on some more pardons. Got to get them pardons out there. Got to protect his own butt. Watch this.
Let me move on because Attorney General Merrick Garland said that he will publicly release Special Counsel Jack Smith's report on the 2020 election interference case against Trump after the 11th Circuit Court gives him the green light to do so. He, however, did not release, and he will not release, Volume 2 of Smith's report, which covers the classified documents case against Trump. And then you've got President Biden saying that he's not going to rule out preemptive pardons for Liz Cheney, Dr. Anthony Fauci. He said he's still weighing whether or not to issue a preemptive pardon to both of these people, among others. Trump slammed this yesterday. Watch.
I thought it was ridiculous that he did that, but we have more important things to talk about. Liz Cheney she lost in the Republican Party, as you know, in her state, by the biggest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress. She lost by like 42 points. Nobody's ever lost like that. So I don't care about Liz Cheney. I care about these people.
Senator, what's your take on this? Why would Joe Biden want to issue a preemptive pardon to Liz Cheney? Did she break the law?
What we are learning from this is obviously the Biden administration thinks that these individuals that would be given preemptive pardons broke the law in some way. So they're going to cover them before they exit the White House.
Yeah.
Maria, I think the other thing is we've all heard that Biden is having a lot of trouble raising money for the Biden Library. So now he's trying to mollify the left wing of the Democrat Party. But we've all watched as this party is in complete and total disarray. And what we've all seen is that they have learned absolutely nothing from the November election, and people in this country are tired of 2 tiers of justice.
Yes.
And they're looking at these preemptive pardons and saying, well, I guess our instincts and our suppositions were correct. These people were breaking the law and going after Donald J. Trump.
Unbelievable. The Biden Library, I didn't realize that was a factor. What about China? I mean, didn't China fund his other institution at Penn?
Yes, indeed. And we all know that the assumption has been that Joe Biden was compromised in some way, shape, or form by Biden Incorporated and the relationships that they had there.
Yeah.
And Maria, this is all, you know, people look at the pictures that have come out of Biden and his son, and they're saying, hey, wait a minute, you denied every bit of this.
Right.
You lied to us about this, and now we see the proof that is coming out after the fact. And again, the American people are saying, well, I guess we were pretty smart. We were right about this. We figured it out.
Yeah.
We knew you were lying to us.
Ooh.
And no, we've had it
look,
with you.
We were on the right side of this all the way, but it was hard to get through the media walls out there. The mainstream media refused to touch it at all. But I got to move on to social media because Meta says it's ending its censorship efforts. They'll no longer use a third-party fact-checking program in the United States. They say instead they're moving to community notes like you see on X. Your thoughts on this? You've worked so hard on social media with regard to its impact on children and of course, big impact on all of us with this censorship that's been going on.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, on the censorship issue, I want to say to Mark Zuckerberg, if he has chomped on the red pill, then by all means, call my office today. And let's look at the issue of censorship. Let's look at the issue of protecting children online. But again, if he's chomping on that red pill, if he has been converted, if he wants to talk about how we protect people in the virtual space and give them the ability to protect their virtual you, then give me a call. I'd love to have a conversation.
All right, Senator, we'll leave it there. Great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Guys, let me tell you this. I'm not a... Zuckerberg is just a person who flows with the wind. Wherever it goes, that's where he's going. Guys, I want to show you this because this is like, I'm telling you, the left-wing media is having a heyday over Elon Musk saying that DOGE probably won't find $2 trillion in federal budgets. It's not what he said. He said that they're hopeful to find it. They want to create some milestones of like, hey, let's get to $1 trillion, let's get to 1.5, and let's get to 2. I have the actual receipt to show you of what he actually said, because again, too, this propaganda, you cannot believe it unless you see it for yourself. And I've got it for you right here of what was actually said, because again, too, these guys better cut at least $1 trillion in spending.
To kind of bring us down to earth for a question on DOGE.
Yeah.
I worked very closely actually with President Clinton in the 90s, where we did have reinventing government. We did balance the budget in 2 years, actually.
That's awesome. Oh, those were the days.
Well,
it's been a while.
It didn't last very long because
it didn't last very long.
It got blown up very quickly. Have you identified some cuts that you're really looking at that you think will be successful? Do you think the $2 trillion is a realistic number now that you're looking more closely at it?
Yeah, well, I think we'll try for $2 trillion. I think that's like the best case outcome. But I do think that you kind of have to have some overage. I think if we try for $2 trillion, we've got a good shot at getting 1. And if we can drop the budget deficit from $2 trillion to $1 trillion and kind of free up the economy to have additional growth, such that the output of goods and services keeps pace with the increase in the money supply, then there will be no inflation. So that I think would be an epic outcome.
See, there you go, full receipts. I also got this to show you too, guys, because again, remember I told you in the beginning, they're working on over 100 executive orders. You're about to hear from the guy that's actually working with them on getting this done for Trump's agenda. Check this out.
Reconciliation. But the first matter at hand has got to be the deportation. President Trump's committed to it. He's working on it. Stephen Miller, the great Stephen Miller, yesterday in the Senate behind closed doors, being reported, being leaked, that Stephen Miller walked through 100, as we said here the other day, 100 executive orders. Now, I'm not sure all those are going to be done by game day, because you remember, we're in the weeds here at the War Room because the posse needs to be in the weeds. You need the receipts. You have to get Office of Legal Counsel opinions on these executive orders, right, to make sure that they're constitutional, that they comport to existing law, and that they're constitutional. Because the executive order is not a law; it's an order from the chief executive of the U.S. government, that would be President of the United States. Todd Bensman, I want to get to Chicago in a second because that's going to be the center of this fight of sanctuary cities versus sorting this thing out. But give me a minute before we go to break. The executive orders, the shock of the 100, I will tell you, folks, I don't know. I think 50, somewhere in there, 35 to 50 are related to Todd Bensman's topic, brother, about undoing the damage Biden did day one. What should we look for there before we go to break, Todd?
Well, I won't be surprised at all to see CBP 1 and all those parole programs immediately canceled. The ones that are flying them in over the border and bringing them in over the land ports. I won't be surprised to see them deputize the Texas Department of Public Safety and Operation Lone Star either, because they're going to need to have personnel. They've got ready-made personnel right there on the border, on 1,200 miles of border with Texas. I've heard through the grapevine that there has already been a lot of talking about that, arrangements for the deputizing of Texas. I wouldn't be surprised to see a big emergency declaration that would allow the new president to use military facilities for detention and maybe even use some personnel to do some of the administrative work that's necessary. They need to divert manpower, personnel to the deportation.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happens with sanctuary cities. They've got something in mind for the rebel blue cities that are already out there saying we're not going to participate.
Guys, a ton of stuff is coming like never before, but this just broke, guys. This is about what I'm about to show you. This is the type of stuff I get so excited to show you because you don't see this on mainstream media, but what you do see this on is TrueLife News of behind the scenes of what's happening. Check this out. John Fetterman, Democrat, more based than the rest of his crew, will be visiting President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He will be the first sitting Democrat senator to do so. He said, I think it's pretty reasonable that if the president would like to have a conversation or invite someone to have a conversation to have it, and no one is my gatekeeper, Fetterman said. Guys, so I want to tell you a little bit of thing about the Senate. So right now they have 53 majority in the Senate. There's some things and some rules where you have to have, I think, 54 or 55. Fetterman has already agreed to a lot of things like the nominations, the nominees for cabinet members, and some other things that they would like to do in order to make sure to put things over the edge for the Republicans. Like, it's insane, but he's so basically red-pilled on making sure that America's put first. And I'm telling you, I was not a Fetterman fan at first, but I'm starting to really like this guy. He's like closet Republican to me. But I want you to listen to, because remember, they need all the majority of votes in the Senate, and guess who is about to start fighting them on the debt ceiling? Check this out. And it's a Republican.
Like the kind of thing you usually like to hear.
Well, it sort of depends. I mean, there are a lot of things that do unite us. The tax cuts is big. I mean, it's huge. $4 trillion worth of tax cuts that are already in place. So basically, the American economy is predicated upon these tax cuts. If they go away, it's a tax increase. So that unites almost all of us. I don't know that any Republican is against not only keeping the tax breaks, but making them permanent. They have been a big boon for the economy. Nothing is probably more important than keeping the tax cuts in the bill. Unites all of us. On drilling and allowing more permitting from the federal government to drill on federal lands, I think it unites virtually all of us on that as well. The things that are potential at dividing us would be raising the debt ceiling with this bill. So if there's an attempt to raise the debt ceiling, I won't vote for the bill. And the reason is I haven't voted for the spending. I've voted every time against expanding the spending. I've voted for balanced budgets. I've introduced balanced budgets. The people who need to be ashamed or need to be participating in a day of shame and voting for the raising of the debt ceiling are the Democrats and the big government Republicans who vote for the spending. It's the way it's always been done in the past. Conservatives have never voted to raise the debt ceiling because we don't vote for the spending. It's not our responsibility. It's the people who vote for the spending and for the debt to vote for it. So hopefully they'll keep that off of the reconciliation bill. If they do, I think we can stay united enough to pass the bill.
If, it's... What do you think happens if Democrats come out and say we're not going to vote for this? If it can't get now, if it's reconciliation, does it just need 50 in the Senate?
Yeah, it just needs 50. And
This big bill would only need 50.
Yeah, but it needs virtually every Republican in the House.
Yep.
And so what I'm telling you and what I'm hoping conservatives will hear across the land, conservatives like myself are all for virtually everything in there, securing the border, cutting taxes. We're for the whole package, but we're not for raising the debt ceiling. And that's already been evidenced. At Christmas time, we had this. Most of the Freedom Caucus voted against raising the debt ceiling. So as long as they're separated out, you can keep all the Republicans together. But the one way to destroy it, the one thing that destroys it, is sticking the debt ceiling on this bill. So I hope the powers that be will not do that.
You think in the House, like Chip Roy and Massey and those fellas wouldn't go for that either?
I can't speak for them. All I can say is that 38 of them, and I think those two were included, voted against the package that raised the debt ceiling. I will vote against any package that includes raising the debt ceiling. So let's hope we can come together on the things we agree on. Tax cuts, securing the border, hopefully spending cuts. I want spending cuts to be part of this as well.
Well, and I think the concerns that you and others have were heard by Trump, because when he spoke at that news conference yesterday, I don't know if you heard him, but he mentioned something about, I'm all for cutting spending. I mean, I think he's definitely getting that, he's getting that message, and he's been a rather spendy president in the past. He did, that was maybe one of the flaws that he had. If you're a fiscal conservative, was looking at how much debt he incurred. I think he's gotten your message, though.
Yeah, and it's, I think the public is with us. I think the business community is with us. I think people are seeing this cliff, this fiscal cliff that's coming upon us. Social Security is going to be bankrupt. Social Security will be bankrupt in 2034. We have to start cutting expenses. We have to do everything we can to encourage the economy to grow. That helps to balance your budget, but we also need to cut expenses. 2/3 of all the expenses are entitlements. You have to look at entitlements. The remaining third, half of it's military. You have to look at military. The problem is, in my caucus, I hear them clamoring. The military hawks want more military money. But the only way they get that, by busting the caps, is they usually give the Democrats more welfare money. So it's warfare and welfare. They go together. And that's what the clamor is now. The clamor isn't actually in my caucus for balancing the budget. The clamor among the establishment, big government Republicans, is for spending more money on the military.
Wow.
Understood.
Yeah, that's true.
Totally understood. If there's one, I'm always screaming about the debt. I can't believe what we're doing to the future generations in this country just so we can live a little bit higher on the hall.
Let me tell you this, guys. If there's anything when it comes to how do you make the economy bigger, there's only so much money out there for people to spend. You have to create money if you want to spend more money, and that's what the government thinks it makes sense to do to grow the economy. You have to pull money from outside of the United States, and you have to be able to sell more. Well, if you're already that's the thing that nobody addresses, and I would love for somebody, this is a really intellectual thought I would really love for somebody to do an analysis on what is the capacity of GDP for America. If everybody is operating at, say, 80% of productivity in the United States, what is our capacity for the economy to grow? Because there's only so much money. There's only so much revenue out there for people to spend. So then if we know that cap, then we have to have selling outside of America to the rest of the world. That's the only way you increase your capacity. And how close are we to the cap? Because right now, Biden literally had us at a $7 trillion deficit. $7 trillion, budget with a $2 trillion deficit. meaning we were only bringing in about 4.8 trillion in all of the money coming from taxes and whatnot, but we're literally over a $2 trillion deficit. So to reduce the government by $1 trillion in the deficit, well, you're still in the negative by $1 trillion. The economy has to grow by $1 trillion. So you have to take in that much more taxes. Well, the taxes, if we're not having more people working and we're not having more people make more money here in the United States and more people buying, then where's the money going to come from? Guys, this is a thought that I've been thinking about. I feel like we're capped out as a country when it comes to how much more we can grow. If you don't grow your population, we have been at 300 and I think almost 30 million people for the past like 15 years, almost 20 years. If you don't have more people to work and you don't have more taxes to take from those people, and if you don't have more revenue coming in and we're capped out on how much we can spend as an average family, where are you going to get the money from? It has to come from outside the United States. So then you got to sell to India. You got to sell to China. That's where Trump, and I feel like he understands this, and this is why he is saying tariffs, 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 because we are capped out as in America for the amount of money that we can bring in as a population, and we have to now tariffs all the rest of the world in order to bring in more revenue in order to get us back in check. Guys, tell me, I think I'm making pretty logical sense here, but that's why Trump wants tariffs so much. Mark me on it. I'm going to do some more investigations on it, on some more research on that, because I feel like that's where we're at as a country. Want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Guys, it's free. Help TrueLife News grow. We're almost at 155,000 subscribers. We are here for you to serve you every day with the top news, Monday through Friday, 2 shows a day, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. And thank you to everybody that is a member of the channel. In less than 2 weeks, we're going to be doing our charity giveaway online. We're going to be giving to a group home where they take in kids and they help them find families, and they give them a home and they give them love. And guys, this is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's called Tupelo's Mansion. We're going to be donating to that on the 21st or the 22nd. But just want to say that we appreciate your membership so much. We use the membership fees and super chats to use that money to give back to charity. And guys, this is something that, again, I don't have to do this. I do it because I want you to know that this channel is more than just reporting the news. I want to give back, and I do it online, and you see it right on the screen, so you know that my heart is to give back and make this world a better place. We bust our butt every day. We want to give you the best show possible. We want to show you things that you don't normally see on mainstream media, and we want to make sure that you see the facts and the truth. So I want to say thank you to everybody that is a member. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. Guys, it's only 99 cents a month. It's less than $1 a month. And the more people that we get, the more people that we can give back. And there is power in numbers. So just think about that. I want to give some shout outs to people that given a super chat today. Sherry Garcia, John Reppy, Sharon Holt, Crunk Juice. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. We couldn't do this without you. We love you. We appreciate you so much. We are here for you every day. We love you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.